Okay, I'm Jeff from ASEOpro.com. We do search engine optimization, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about conversion rate optimization. Keyword ranking isn't everything online. Yes, it's great to have good placement in your search results, but that's not all it takes to succeed online. If you're opening a restaurant somewhere, you wouldn't want me sending you a bunch of customers before you even had a chef or food lined up. So before we spend a bunch of money promoting your website, it'd be a really good idea to make sure that it's ready to perform. And that's what conversion rate optimization is all about. Conversion rate is how many customers it takes to get to your goal, expressed in a percentage. How many visitors come to your website and actually convert into customers. And that can be through placing an order, subscribing to your newsletter, even giving you a phone call. It's whatever this is your goal, expressed in a percentage, and we want that percentage to improve. We want it to go up. We want to take fewer visitors to get to your goal. We want to make the most of the people that do come. Why would we do this? Well, we want to beat the crap out of your competition. You want to be the guy that leads the industry. You care about your customers. You actually want them to have a good experience. You know that it's valuable to have good customer relations. It's going to take you being a little bold. You're going to have to be able to take some criticism to be able to improve. There's a guy by the name of Tim Ash. He's a conversion rate expert. He does a speech called "Your Baby is Ugly." It's actually really brutal and funny, but the point is, you have to admit that maybe your website isn't doing as well as you'd like it to, and that there are some improvements that could be made to improve it. And that takes being honest about what's going on. The other thing is to act on what we find. This is a key, crucial thing. The reason I put it here is because you'd be surprised how many people go through all of this up here and then drag their feet about making change. Online, you don't have time to make change. Things happen too fast. You have to get it done. You can't drag your feet about it. Einstein said, "Not everything that counts can be counted, and not everything that can be counted counts." And that's true. You know, search engine optimizers, we like to relate everything to numbers. We want to know your page rank, your number of impressions, the time on the page, number of pages visited, bounce rate, ranking reports, traffic volume, and all that makes a great spreadsheet. But unless it actually equals more money in your pocket as a business, more conversions, whatever that is, it doesn't mean a hill of beans. Spreadsheets don't get the things done. There's only one rule in this game, and that is to make the most out of every visitor that comes to your website. Make the most out of every visitor. You want them to have the best relationship with you that you can possibly get. How important is that? Amazon was willing to work at a loss for years because they understood the long-term value of customers. They were willing to put in the time and make the effort to build up a relationship, build a customer experience, even if it didn't mean a dime in their pocket, because they knew in the long run it was going to pay off. They're doing fine. There's a car dealership in my hometown, been in the same family for 100 years. 100 years. Think about that. In the last 100 years, there's been a couple times when there was no new cars being sold, and they stayed in business. How? By taking care of their customers. They understood that the tough times weren't going to last, and they'd want those customers to be coming back when the time came to buy new cars. And so they did stuff for their customers even when it didn't mean a dollar in their pocket, because they valued that customer relationship. They're doing fine. Understanding your market, that's understanding your existing traffic. If you have a business or an office or a store where you actually deal with your customers face to face, you already have a huge advantage in this. You already know what the typical things they ask for when they come in. What are the typical questions they have? What are their typical objections? And how to overcome them. Your website needs to do just like you would if they were face-to-face with you. It needs to anticipate those questions. It needs to address those objections. Overcome them and close the sale just like you would if your sales staff was right there. You can actually learn more from the visitors that come to your website and don't convert, that don't do what you want them to do, don't do what you expect them to do. If you can get information from them, you can actually learn more to change your website around to make it convert more. And I'm going to show you some tools how to do that. But you need to also be tracking where your orders come from. Do they come over the phone? How many visits do they come to your website before they actually buy? All these things are some things that we're going to try to improve, so we need to know tracking. What you need to know is what your visitors want when they show up and why they don't convert. Let me just go back over this just a second. If you owned a store somewhere and people came into your store and everybody that came through the door said, "Can I have a cherry flavored snow cone?" and you sold snowboards, you'd want to know why they're asking for snow cones instead of snowboards. You'd probably walk outside to the front of the building and look at the front of the building and say, "Does it say snow cones here somewhere?" You'd look at the sign that you paid some guy to paint up in front of your store and you'd see if he spelled it right. You'd go to the phone book and you'd look in the phone book and see, am I in the right category here? Did they put me in the wrong category? No, I'm in snowboards. Why are they asking for snow cones? You try to figure out what's going on. The same thing's true on a website. We're trying to figure out what's going on and how to improve to gain that business. And maybe it's add a new product line. Maybe you need to get a snow cone machine and stock up on cherry flavor. Engage your visitors. This is when we're getting into the testing to see what's going wrong. Why aren't we getting the conversions out of the traffic we get right now? One of the ways to improve that would be to have a live chat. Be able to have a live chat on your website so that you could, engage them in a conversation. It's not my favorite because I find live chat a little invasive. Personally, I don't like to be bothered while I'm looking at the website. I like to take my time and go through it at my own pace. And I don't, unless I come up with a question, I don't really do that. My personal, my thing is web analytics, because you're just looking at the results. You can see where they clicked, where they didn't click, and where they left from. And if everybody's leaving my website from the same page, I'm pretty sure I need to take a look at that page and see if I can change it. Refer a friend. This is actually one of my favorite. Refer a friend. Because if you allow people to refer your website to one of their friends, you get to see how they describe your website. How do they describe your product? What are they excited about? Look at the terms that they use. It's like having your own copywriting team for free right there. Incorporate that stuff into your website. Click mapping. This is actually a service called ClickTail. It's really good. They give you a little flash video of your visitor's actual visit to your page. Now, it's a little creepy because it's kind of like reading a newspaper over somebody's shoulder, but if you can get over the creepy factor, it's really, really helpful because you'll actually see how far down they scrolled on your page. What did they linger on? Where did they go to next? What's going on here? You can actually get a lot of insight just by watching what they did on your site. You might find out they're not scrolling down to find what I really wanted them to see. Maybe you needed to make a change, bring it up a little higher. Customer surveys. These can be helpful. Little short surveys as people leave the sites. If they can give you some input, it's really helpful. You got to read what they write, but there's two services. One's SurveyMonkey and the other one's 4Q, which of course you have to be careful when you say it. But both of them are really good, and it helps you do a little visitor-driven optimization. What are your visitors doing, and how can you fine-tune it to improve that? And that's the goal. What to focus on first. I like to get all the advertising you've ever done for your website, all the advertising you've actually done for your product, whether it was before the internet even happened. All the advertising you've ever done, take a look at what was really successful. What are the texts that really grabbed people's attention, the wording that you used, the pictures that you used, and try to incorporate that into the website. Talk to your sales force. This is the people that actually deal with your customers on a day-to-day basis. They are a wealth of knowledge. They have lots of experience. They know exactly the kinds of questions and stumbling blocks they run into all the time and how to overcome them. And you need to take that information and build it into your website. Your homepage. This is a crucial part. I'm going to keep harping on it, but homepage is where people typically land when they come from the search engine. And how they find you, the terms that they type in to the search engine that bring them to your homepage, they have to be addressed right away on that homepage. It has to be obvious that you're all about it. I mean, you wouldn't want to have something that didn't grab their attention and didn't answer that search, because they'll bounce right back off of it. Products page. Make sure your products page is understandable, uncluttered. Have enough text on there to describe what you're talking about, describe the options, describe the benefits on your products page, because you don't want to lose somebody when they get to that part just because they got a little confused with how your products look, or, you know, what you're really offering. Your checkout process. When they're filling out an order form, it's another thing. People want to ask too many questions on the order form. If it doesn't have to do with actually completing the order, it doesn't belong in the order form. I know there's a natural tendency to want to get as much information as you can. Where did you see us first? Did you get recommended by a friend? What color shirts do you really like? It doesn't, unless it has to do with that order process, get it off of it. This needs to be streamlined. You don't want to lose customers because you ask too many questions on the order form. The other thing is, look at your checkout process, look at your order confirmation. Is it nice, neat, tidy, appreciative? You know, do you thank them for their order? Your call center, kind of crucial. If you have a business where people talk to your phone staff, you need to, they're just like your sales force. They already know all the questions and concerns and things that make people nervous after they purchase, anxious. They're dealing with that on a regular basis. If you can incorporate those things and answer those on your website, you'll save a world of hurt from your customers. You'll actually make them more comfortable. You'll do a great job helping out your call center. Everything you can put on the website to make their job easier, that's a good thing. Another thing about the call center, you want to make sure that people that are handling your phones are the right people for the job. If you've got Debbie Downer or Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh answering your phones, get them out of there. You know, you can afford to have them in your business, just not answering the phones, not dealing with the public. You need Miss Bubbly Bright in there, the one that has something nice to say about absolutely everybody, everything, even when her world's going to hell. She seems to pull it together and be positive and comforting to the people that she talks to. Those are the people you need on your phones, and they're worth their weight in gold. You know, use them to help decide what needs to be on your website. Product delivery, that's another one. Are you sending out tracking numbers? If you ship a product, make sure you're staying in touch with your customer and putting them at ease. Okay, can anybody tell me what a 1967 Ford Mustang has to do with with what we're talking about right now? Actually, it doesn't have anything to do with it. I'm just using it in my presentation so I can write it off. Okay, overcoming objections. These are the same things that you would do if you saw somebody in person to deal with them. You would want to know, you know, if they don't feel like they can trust you, if there's some trust issues there, you need to build trust elements right on the website. If they don't believe that your product is actually better, you're not doing a good enough job showing them the advantages and the benefits that your product has over the competition. Spend a little more time and effort on that. If they don't understand what you're offering, improve their comprehension by adding pictures, adding videos, more text, more content, more things that make them comfortable with what you're doing. If they feel like it's too risky, you got to do what you can on the website to take away that risk to make them more comfortable. We learn from our mistakes. If this was actually true, you're looking at the smartest guy on the planet. It's, you know, I'm here to tell you, you don't have to learn everything the hard way. Don't guess, test everything. You can learn more and improve if you observe and adapt. If it took 100 people walking in and out of Barnes & Noble before anybody bought a book, you better believe they'd be figuring out why. And that's the same thing we're trying to do on the web. We want your website to get the most out of every visitor. What to test? Different calls to action, maybe more of them, maybe in more places, calls to action. You know, if you have them at hello, if somebody shows up your website and they just want to order your product, don't make them go through the whole website to find your order page. Put the call to action right at the top. Different navigation structures. There needs to be more than one way to navigate through your website. You don't want them to get there at the home page and then go, I really like the way this looks, I just can't figure out how to get inside. Make it obvious, make sure there's no broken links. Different images. Use the image that it takes to sell the product. I know it's kind of tough to wrap your head around, but Victoria's Secrets knows that people that buy their product don't actually look like the models that they use. That's not the point. The point is, that's what they use to get you excited about buying the product. You buy the product, you get it home, you try it on, and you go, well, but you're using what it takes to sell the product. Different fonts. Leave artsy-fartsy fonts for the competition. Call up your competition and tell them you'd really like them to use artsy-fartsy fonts and smaller print. Small print on a website, are you kidding me? That's like being in the carpool lane and driving slow. I don't care if you got a bunch of people in your car. If you're going to drive slow, get out of the carpool lane. That's for people to take advantage of the fact they got more than one person in their car. They get a little bonus. They get to drive a little faster. You're over there because you think, I'm in the carpool lane. I got two. Get out of the carpool lane and use big fonts on your website. Videos. Videos are an underused gold mine. They help people understand what you're talking about. But make sure they're short, easy to understand. And use somebody that can have a little excitement. Use high-low pricing and deluxe standard offers. I mean, these are things to test. Maybe you could get more business if you offered a low-end price leader. That's why stores do it. You want to get them through the door because you got a low price, but then show them the options they can have for just a little bit more. Same with high-low pricing. You got a price leader and a top of the line. You know, you'd be surprised how many people come in for this and then go for the high. But test that. Just like you would in person talking to your customers, you're finding out what the objections are, you're overcoming the objections and making the sale. Advanced market intelligence. Every business has something that sets them apart from the competition. Usually you're just so busy in business that you forget to highlight that on your website. If you have detailed customer information that helps you stay casual with your customers, engage them. See if there's anything else, other products they might be interested in. You know, be involved. Let them know you care about what's going on. If you sell an affiliate product on your website, ask them to come back and rate the product. It's another touch. It's another way to get them back, to remind them that you're there and that you care about what they're doing. Maybe you're the innovative leader in your industry. You know, highlight that on the website. Maybe you have a wealth of information that you offer for free on your website. Make that visible on the website. Leverage what you know to help your business grow. That's what we're trying to do on the website. Create a strategy. Here's where we're going to make a list of the things you need to change first. If you, when you're doing your research, you find something that would actually double your business, if you made a change on the website, that goes to the top of the list, obviously. If it's something that you want to change, but it's going to take a committee of people, a bunch of lawyers to decide whether you can do it, it goes on the list down at the bottom. Not that you're not going to do it, it's just not the thing you can implement right away. It goes down farther. It's things that have made a big difference in your business in the past, move to the top. Things that would be a real positive influence to The bigger pop you can get from it, and it needs to be at the top of the list, do it right away. Then you're going to get some other people involved. You want some copywriters to word things a little differently. You're going to have design people, graphic artists come in and work on your logo. Make sure it's really appealing. Make sure the overall look of your website is just right. And you want multiple versions of it so that you can, when you get to the usability testing, they have some different things to look at. People are going to be able to narrow it down as to what actually really hits their hot button, what actually does the job that they're looking for. And you need some selections to really get some positive feedback so that you can make good choices. I don't care if your brother-in-law can build a website. If he's not doing it professionally, he's not the guy you want. This isn't time for GoDaddy. This is your business online. If you were building a store outside, down the street, you wouldn't hire your brother-in-law just because he has a hammer. You'd get guys in there that did it right, that could make it look just right. And be substantial. This isn't time to mess around. This is time to get it done right. It's your image. It's your business online. It's going to be your store when you're asleep. It needs to be just right. Build a kick-ass layout. Use single columns, not multiple columns in small print. Make sure there's no clutter on the website. I know that people like to add things to, but it's, you know, there's certain times that clutter's okay. The website isn't one of them. It needs to be clean, fresh, easy to understand, nice flow. Move the best stuff to the top. There's going to be some people that don't really scroll down as far as you think they should. Get the important stuff to the top of the page. And write for all types of visitors. This is actually one of my favorites. Nobody is so sophisticated that they won't stoop so low as to bend so far as to read easy words. I have friends that are professional writers. They say, "We love your style. You write at such an easy level." And I think they might be insulting me, and it could be just the extra years that I spent in 4th grade, but that's not important right now. What is important, you need to write at a level that anybody that shows up at your website can understand what you're talking about. Don't be so full of yourself that you got to write technical jargon into your website. That's not where it belongs. Write for anybody that shows up. You need some different views, like I said, different views of your website, so that when you're going through the usability testing, they can go, "Oh, I like this, I like that." You know, the more versions you have, 6, 7, 10 versions, the better funnel you're going to get when you get to the usability testing. We're trying to use method marketing. You're trying to get into the mind of the people that show up at your website. And that's method marketing. You're trying to view it the same way they would. The reason I use this is I think it's funny. Apparently when he was getting ready to be in Taxi Driver, Robert De Niro spent a couple weeks driving a taxi. And it just blows me away, because my personal opinion of Robert De Niro is he couldn't find his way out of his own house without help. So those taxi rides must have been one heck of a ride. But my point is, you got to look at it the way your customers would. You're trying to use a little method acting yourself. I did this by accident on my own website. I had been messing around with the code, and I thought maybe I broke my email order form, which is kind of important because that's how I get my orders. And so my intention was to just quickly go to my website, fill out an order form, and send it so that I could see if it was still working, if it was still working, or if I had broken. And I couldn't find my own order form on my own website. I suddenly realized I needed to make a change. Usability testing. Here we're going to get some independent people that are going to be honest with you, be brutal with you, and they're going to give you the honest opinion about the different things that are going on in your website. You can't use your wife for this. Your wife knows how hard you're working at it, and she's just going to say, "Honey, that looks great." But that's not going to buy shoes for the baby. You need to get people that are going to be brutal with you, be honest with you. Don't tell them it's yours. Get their honest opinion on it. And try not to break down in tears when they tell you they hate it. As much copy as it takes. How much is enough? Enough is the same as it would be if you were talking to them in person. If possible, if you deal with your customers in person, you need to record the conversation right from the "hello, can I help you" to the "thank you for your business." Get it transcribed and then compare the transcription to what's on your website. Most of you probably don't have enough description on your website to do the sale, and you're wondering why it's not working. Put the copy on the website. If you don't think long pages sell, go to Amazon and check out the Kindle. Amazon uses long copy. Why? Because they know that some items need more description, more pictures, more instructions, more things to make you comfortable with the sale. And they use long copy because they know it works. And how long is it? Well, it goes from here to your kid's next birthday. Because that's what it works. That's what works. Don't be afraid of long pages. Just don't let them ramble or be spammy. Here's a fun thing. Google actually has a website optimizer. Now that's not a search engine optimizer. This is a search engine offering a website optimizer. Google doesn't want you to improve your search ranking. They want you to pay them pay-per-click advertising. That makes more money for Google. But they do want your website to work when people get there. So they give you a free tool. It doesn't tell you what to test. That's what you found out from the other tools that we already talked about. But it does help you keep score on what you're testing. And that's a good thing, and it's affordable because it's free, so you can get on there and play around with it. I'm going to leave you with this. If Google, or if Nordstrom's was in a barn, would you be comfortable going in there and spending a gob of money? Probably not. Because you want Nordstrom's to look a certain way. You want it to be impressive. You want it to look sturdy, substantial, like it's going to be there for a while. In case you find a product you don't like, you can go back. It'll still be there. You want aisles to show you where to go. You want nice carpeting to stand on while you're making your decision. You want pretty people to come up and ask you, "Can I help you?" And when that happens, you reach into your pocket, you pull out your credit card and you hand it to them, and you never stop and think, "I wonder if I can trust this place." Of course I can trust it. It looks like a bank. That's the same thing we're trying to do on your website. Things happen really fast on the internet. People go to the search engine, they type in a few terms, they hit the button, and search engine comes up with a few results. Of those results, they look at the title and a few words, and they make a decision, and they click on that link. When they show up on your home page, you've got literally split seconds for them to decide that was the answer they were looking for, or they'll just click off and leave. Your headline has to answer that question. The general look of your website has to set them at ease. You want to make your website make the most of every visitor you get. And then when it does, then you're ready to be promoted on the search engines to come up on the top of those really rich keyword phrases and terms so that you get lots of traffic, because when the traffic comes, they're going to convert to customers. I'm going to put this presentation on my website. There's going to be links there to all the tools I talked about, and I'm available to answer questions, but I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.